pandemic almost, it's something which is going on, and it has almost taken a year for people to accept it and stabilize. So though people accepted it, but stabilizing took its own time. And for us, the priority was keeping safety of people in mind and migrating from the office working to the hybrid working. In the beginning, it was not even hybrid, it was completely from home. So when it was migrating people to work from home required a lot of discipline, both at our end as well as people. The priority was that how do we train the people to become productive from their homes. And the message given at that time was that if office colleagues can be your family members, can the family members now become your colleagues? So the priority at that time was working on the mindset of people, making them accept their homes as their office, and enabling them to do work without losing out on productivity. So whatever efforts required was something that HR had to extend from the office. My experience would be more from ICFAI Business School, where we had to help our faculty members, our staff, and most important, the students who were new to the campus and who had a little problem in knowing us because they were just admitted to a new class. Getting people to accept that office is now your home and you are operating from home, and for that they had to come out of the set working hours, which in case of an office it was possible. People could monitor their timings, but when they were working from home, the employees had to take that ownership on themselves and get into self-monitoring rather than somebody else monitoring them. So getting them to move beyond the working hours, which would be a 9 to 5 or a lunch break, which would be half an hour. I'm sure people extended their lunch hours from half an hour to even maybe 2 hours because they were at home. But what we asked our people is, give those 8 hours to your working. And those 8 hours could be anything. It could be starting the morning at 7 and working continuously, or you could be even working late. You could start your day late and work till late, but do not compromise on those 8 hours. Those 8 hours is something that you have to give to office. And when we saw people abiding by it, for that, whatever training that was required from our side, the major thing was continuously staying in connect with people. So the consistency in connecting, communicating to people, engaging them from time to time, and for that, the efforts that were required by our HR and administration, we saw that there were events organized, there were activities organized, which perhaps included even the family members. So it was not just the employee, but we knew that family members are today becoming the biggest enablers for people to be productive. So why not involve them? And so there were times, when we would be talking to the parents of the employee, we would be talking to the spouse of the employee, and that brought a whole lot of ownership of the family into the organization and enabled the employee to be productive at odd hours. Looking at a place like Mumbai, where the homes could be very small, and we had people from all strata. We had people with all kind of difficulties where the buildings would get sealed, or they were not allowed to, it would become a containment zone. And managing people in those situations, it was the family members who supported them, and they were the ones who cooperated, allowed people to work late, even with the lights on in a single room accommodation. So these were some of the things which we saw as a challenge, and we thought that we need to accept it. And what is it that we can do to comfort the family members and not let the productivity of our employees dip because they have to meet the business objective. Interesting, there are some roles which can very easily get aligned to online uh, way of working, but there are some roles which you just cannot, and then in that case, what do you do with people who are working for those roles which cannot be aligned online? Then do we ask people to go? No, we didn't want to do that. We wanted to retain all our staff. We wanted that, can we utilize these people into other functions? Can these people be trained onto other functions? So first of all, migrating from teaching in class to teaching online, the faculty members had to be trained. So the faculty members, they were very adapt to it, and they picked it up very fast. There was a lot of collective learning that took place, and that collective learning, where end of the day the faculty members came together, posted their questions on a WhatsApp group, shared their learnings with each other, and helped each other come up quickly. The entire content was developed. The faculty was brilliant in terms of accepting this online way of teaching and making the students learn. But we also had a whole lot of back office staff, and what could that back office staff do? Because they were this was the staff that had to be trained on content development. This was the staff which had to be trained on uploading the content, and that is where training them to do all this work was again something, because we wanted to retain each and every one. And there were situations where we had to relook at the compensation, that what do we do? Should we be paying them half? Should we be paying them just the 70%? But the decision taken at ICFAI Business School was that we are not going to reduce anyone's compensation. Everybody is going to get their full salaries, and we need to utilize them into functions which, even if it was not their own, but we need to train them, we need to skill them. And for that, whatever training in the remotest possible place that the employee would be, because a lot of them had gone to their hometowns, because when they saw the situation worsening in Mumbai, they had moved to their hometowns, and we knew that that's the reality. So, but we asked them to come on those platforms where we could arrange for trainings, and even the smallest, the lowest level function, or something where the person was the junior most person, he or she was also trained to be retained in the system. And for that, whether it was technology, whether it was content writing, whether it was communication, and I must tell you, the kind of soft skills that are required for the for the online or on a platform like this are different from the soft skills which in person are required. So training people even on that was something that we took it upon us, and we said that people need to be trained on how to present themselves while they are on screen, and the kind of whether it is attire, whether it is facial expressions, whether it is verbal communication, all this has to be, if those people who are finding it difficult, they need to be trained, given time to pick that up, and then brought them at the level which was required to be continuing in the system. So all this training was done by our own in-house staff, our soft skills faculty members, and wherever required, we got trainers from outside. And this also helped in engaging with our team members, and they were all very, very happy in terms of what ICFAI Business School did for them while they were all away from the actual physical presence on campus. We wanted to promote a culture of togetherness and ownership. So we wanted that everybody comes together, let there be a collective wisdom that flows into each one, and a sense of inclusion. So there was staff on one hand, there were students on the other hand, and there were faculty members. Now all these had to be brought together. So we had to look at activities to engage the students. We had to look at activities to engage the faculty members, and we had to look at activities to engage the staff. For the students, though they were spread in all India, they were in their homes. We arranged for many activities which were cultural as well as domain specific, and we arranged for activities which were done at a periodicity of once in a fortnight for the students, so that the students felt that the campus is alive, and there were prizes for the competitions, there were prizes for the initiatives, and the students connected with each other from wherever they were, and they put up performances, they put up their activities in front of the judges, which again were assessing them remotely. But we had an advantage. We could use our alumni who were not just in India, but alumni that was global. The alumni who were in the US, or they were in Canada, or they were in Australia, and we could bring all of them because of the virtual platform, and it was easy to connect with them. So we had, we engaged them to do the judging and the assessing of the student performances. The faculty members, they got a lot of opportunity to get trained around this time. So we could bring trainers from outside, whether it was on case method, or it was on analytics, or it was on anything to do with artificial intelligence, machine learning. So these were the times that we used for having faculty workshops, and we did our best to train the faculty in this time, and that is how the faculty remained engaged. The staff, we had the coffee kind of meetings which had nothing to do with work. So we were not always meeting to review the performance, but we were just meeting to find out the health and the safety of the people. The people had gone through a lot of trauma, because some of them had lost their loved ones, some of them had family members getting infected, and so it was imperative that we keep their mental strength also alive. And we told them that it's your job that is going to give you that engagement, and it's the job that is going to keep you together. So the culture of togetherness and ownership, these two were the main key themes, I would say, for this the pandemic situation. And that is where the kind of emotional commitment that we saw from all our employees was amazing. The message that was sent to all of them was, that if you can manage 100 things to keep your family members safe and to manage your home and the demands of everything around you, if you can manage that, then you can also manage what the organization wants from you, and especially the times when organization needs you. So can you do that rather than ignoring what the organization's demand is or requirement is? So if you can manage home, you can also manage the demand of an organization.